win a game of Mega Strikers, you've got to score some goals. But those pesky goalies are so good at stopping you. Now, what if I told you there is a way to guarantee you score your shots? Well, that's what we're going to cover today in this quick fire guide. So, what is this all about? The short answer is that we will teach you to force the core, or ball, past your opponents in a way that they are unable to strike it back to you. This plays heavily into the strike cooldown that we referenced in our beginner guide, so if you aren't sure about the strike cooldown in the game or could do with a bit more of an introduction, then pause this video, go check out our beginner video, subscribe because you've already had 2 free videos at least at that point, and then return here to catch the rest of this guide. In this example, we are trying to score as Juliet past this Asher. The rune isn't in position to contest our first strike, and we correctly read the Asher's core strike to clear to go towards us. So we have possession, we have the enemy goal open, and we are in the enemy side of the map. Things are looking great for us. So we strike back and hope that the Asher's strike cooldown is too long or that she just misses. By making this strike, I am betting on skill difference. I am betting that the Asher isn't a good player and that she won't be able to react in time. This isn't overtime, the core isn't moving particularly fast. This, in effect, is a gamble. And the gamble doesn't pay off. Asher's core strike comes off cooldown and she does react quickly enough to clear. And now her strikers are in a better position to receive a pass. She clears to the bottom of the map, there Juliet steals the core from my friend Kai, and her and Rune are able to secure a goal for themselves. A few seconds ago, we had forced their goalie to use their core flip, and then I had a golden opportunity to score, but my only option was a gamble. Or was it? In this example, I couldn't have scored the unstoppable goal, but there was a potential, and in many other situations, you would be able to. Let's move on to the next example. In this one, we will set up to score an unstoppable goal. Estelle is a great striker for this, with potentially the greatest range for securing these types of goals. To start things off, the enemy team KO our other striker, but while they're focused on that, I am barely able to knock the core against the wall with my special to bounce it up and around their goalie and nudge the final goal barrier. They are up in players, but we are up in map state and map position as we are fighting on their side. However, in 3v2, if I kept up the pressure, I would likely die to the high damage output from Vice and Zentaro, so I back off to heal up from an orb and reassess. Their Zentaro is on the other side of the map, so if I can just nick it past Rune, I have a chance to score. I wait for Rune to strike the core, then release my secondary ability to nudge it past him. The goalie saves it, but I cover her pass to Rune with my primary. If she hit it that way, I would have scored instantly. Instead, she sends it back to me, hoping I won't be able to score. Another gamble. But this was a primetime game. I had 2 charges of my primary, and only one of them was used. I can still score an unstoppable goal. I strike the core back straight at the Vice. A rookie mistake, you might think. But just as the core reaches her, I see her strike animation kick in, and I fire my primary at her. In a perfect world, I would hit the goalie and the core, but I was slightly off this time. But thankfully, it still worked out. What happened was, Vice saved the goal, and my strike was still on cooldown, so she thought it was safe. But while her strike is still on cooldown, I used an ability to hit the core back, knowing she had no way of stopping it at all. This technique of forcing the core past a goalie, bullying it past them, or double tapping it, or whatever you want to call it, is virtually unstoppable. If they have a core flip, they can save it, or if they have a very quick firing ability and incredibly fast reactions, there is a chance. But neither of those matter if you hit the goalie and the core, as the goalie will get mini-stunned as they hopelessly watch the core go in. So, to score the perfect unstoppable goal, just hit the core towards the goal with an ability, as the enemy goalie strikes it to safety. You can read passes and intercept it to score, or you can just force it past the goalie as they try to save it, preferably hitting the goalie as well so they're stunned and have absolutely no chance, even if they had a core flip. Some strikers are better at this than others. Estella's been most consistent for me. Her incredible range and mini-stun on her primary is excellent for these unstoppable goals, and her special is wide enough to easily intercept passes. You can even use her secondary dash to finish the deal if you've run out of other cooldowns. Juliet, Kai, and Drakkar are all also amazing at forcing the core past the enemy goalie with their primary, and in Juliet's case, even better with her secondary. The continuous onslaught from these strikers make it impossible for any goalie to save. Vice, Juno, and Luna are all excellent at bullying the goalie and stunning them just as they go to save, or if they do save in time, striking the core straight back through. They have less success at just forcing it past the goalie, and they can't hit the core and the goalie at the same time, but they can occasionally score an unstoppable goal. I know I might get this comment, Vice can technically hit the core and the goalie at the same time, but with her secondary it's a stun, and with her primary it's one and then the other. It's not quite at the same time. You get the picture. We're being pedantic now. Asher, Era, Aimee, Octavia, and X can all score these unstoppable goals too, but it usually comes at the cost of their ultimate or special ability, which is on a much longer cooldown and isn't always as consistent. So, there you go. Go out and start scoring some unstoppable goals, strike the core towards the enemy, follow it up with an ability, and just watch as they cry. If you found the guide helpful, please do drop us a like, comment down below on any other guides you would like to see, and subscribe if you want more content like this.